Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Smart HVAC Marketing Podcast. My name is Eric Thomas. I'm the host of the show, and today we are joined by Kelly Palenske from Lim Ric Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on today.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us. So, Kelly, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for our listeners and tell them the history of Lim Ric.
Okay, yeah, sure. So Kelly Palenske. I'm currently in Charleston, South Carolina with Lim Ric Plumbing, Heating, and Air. I started off in my marketing career with a big box membership store for about a good 11 years, did marketing for them, and came to Lim Ric. So this is something a little different, HVAC and plumbing, again, 3 years ago. I started off in inside sales, but then I dabbled a little bit into the marketing. We found a lot of stuff that we weren't getting return on investments. We weren't getting a lot of data. So I ended up taking over the marketing department there. So now I'm marketing director there at Lim Ric Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit more about Lim Ric, about the story, because I know I was reading online about kind of how the name came about and some of the history about it. So why don't you share some of that with our listeners?
Sure. So the owner, David Miles, started off with Lim Baker and then bought Richter's Heating and Air. And then that's how we got the name Lim Ric. He's been in business for over 50 years now.
Wow. So
yeah.
Is he still in the business?
He is, very much so. It's really great to go from like a corporate setting to now. This is still a little bit of a corporate setting, but it's more relaxed. We're allowed to make mistakes. He's really great at that, and he is involved. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, out of curiosity, do you know how big like each company was before they joined together, or was it like kind of two smaller companies?
It's two smaller companies, and now we've grown. We're at 85 now team members, so that's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
We wanted to slow down because one of the things with marketing as well is like inside marketing. We always want to make sure that everybody is still feeling, not the corporate level, that everybody is still, this is the best place for them to work. And we just recently got notification that we won best place to work in South Carolina.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
For the entire state or just for your local
For the
market?
entire state. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
so
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. This will be our third time winning it, 3 years in a row.
Wow. Well, if you live in South Carolina, that sounds like a great place to go work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
it's pretty. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's pretty awesome. The Chamber of South Carolina sends out a survey to every person, every member that works for Lim Ric, and all of them is anonymous. And it's really a great place for them to express like how they're feeling. So we really know the real deal because people can smile or they feel trusted. They feel like relaxed to be able to say anything. So the surveys, they ask questions such as, are you receiving job training? Do you feel like you're being treated properly? Is there a place for you to move for advancement? And then also all the nice little things that, we put in there that we say we do, they say we do it or not. So,
yeah, that's really cool. And it's good to hear that your employees think so highly of their employer.
Yeah.
That's really good for retention. So, speaking of, you guys said you're about 85 people now. When did that growth really start to happen?
So a little bit before I started working there, they started growing a little bit. Of course, they bought a plumbing company as well. So they gained about 10 people from them. And then they started like kind of weeding out a little bit. Then we started hiring a little bit more. But now it's like really growing, which is pretty, 2020 was pretty hard to find anybody that wanted to work. And we still can't. It's still hard. But it's hard to get a lot of applications so that you can find the right candidate to work for you. But right now we're growing, and now people are the marketing that we put out there. We're the best place to work in South Carolina. We do a lot of great things, not just for our technicians, but for their families as well and for their home. Because we don't just invest in training in Lim Ric, but we're investing in their home. So we'll be offering like the Dave Ramsey. That's where they do how to work your finances at home.
Yeah.
We send dinners to their families at home because we know, especially in the summertime, we have their husbands and wives. So we send home, dinners to them and stuff like that as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I feel like that's been a hot topic on the podcast lately is
Really?
finding people to come work. And even in general across the country, it's hard to find people to work right now. But I feel like in the trades right now, it's even harder because you have to have a particular skill set. It's not like, some other job where you can kind of just show up and learn. Um, though there are a lot of companies out there that will take people, straight out of high
Yeah.
school or with no experience at all and kind of, grow them and shape them into the trade. So is that a type of program that you all offer?
Yeah, we do. We have a technical training manager who knows everything. He's a walking HVAC encyclopedia. So they've given him the job of training these guys that are coming out of high school. And I'm telling you, they're still with us and they're excellent. They get a lot of great reviews from our customers. No callbacks. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So they're doing really good and they're not afraid to ask questions. So it's kind of pretty cool to almost mold them into that and what to expect in the HVAC plumbing industry.
Yeah. So what does the typical journey look like from start until they're, I guess, off on their own with the training wheels off? What's that journey look like for them?
Okay. So we had a lot of guys that are interested in the trade, either had a family member that knows about it. That's what I've learned so far, or they've come from actually restaurants. Which lately that's pretty excellent because they got great communication skills. And they're willing to, when things mess up, they can fix it. They're fast reactors. So that we've noticed so far. So they come in, obviously apply, if they're the right fit. The technical trainer works with them for about a good month, and then they start doing on-site training. So they do the books. We have a lot of training for that. That's more of his deal. But then probably about 3 to 4 months, they're in their own truck with maintenance, starting off in maintenance. But our technical trainer's right there with them every time. So
that's awesome. It's a really good way to get people in the door to learn the trade and to have a real, like a career really, and build a career in a job field that's never going to lose demand.
Right. You're always going to need air.
Yeah. Until the day comes where like they're able to make everybody's bodies like naturally cool or hot based on the outdoor temperature.
I feel like we're going to go down to conspiracy theories like going around that because I think that's already here. Maybe.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool though. But yeah, agree. That would be kind of a strange theory.
They do make clothing that keeps you cool in the hot.
Yeah.
Long sleeves and stuff. So
yeah,
it's starting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that stuff.
Yeah.
So in regards to marketing, you all cover, it seems like a pretty large service area down in Charleston, correct? And surrounding areas. So what are some ways that you all have gone about marketing the business throughout the years and to grow the business and to get more customers?
Well, I'm a big fan of marketing word of mouth. So that's one of the things, especially with the big box stores that don't advertise that I worked with before with membership based. So it all starts, again, just kind of like we were talking about before, our technicians feeling good, where they work and about their work. They end up telling their sisters, their families that they love their job, they're coming home. And then someone at, their sisters' families might say, hey, I need an HVAC company. They're like, oh my God, you should call Richard. He works for Lim Ric, and it's awesome. So that's one way. The other way is branding a little bit with like television. We did a lot of that. We had Yellow Dog come down. And you may have heard them from other companies that you spoke with. They do a great job. They come down, they get 3 days of footage. They're out of Michigan. And then anytime that you need anything like, hey, I'm looking for a sewer and drain, or I'm looking for a special commercial, they can take all your footage and then they make these incredible commercials. Now, I work with Brandt Media, Terry Brandt. She has connected me with Magid, MAGID, and they do consumer reports on all of our commercials. So our commercials were rated not just number one in Charleston, like almost perfect, but almost perfect in the nation. Oh, wow. So we did a lot of that. So we were just kind of putting our brand out there a whole bunch. She's excellent with taking care of local stations, streaming now, and us being in the perfect spot, like HGTV. We're a big golf community out here. We're going to be out there too. And then also just targeting our avatar.
Yeah. So what's the typical return on investment for some of those commercials?
Yeah. So the greatest thing is we get a lot of people that actually just call and say, we saw your commercial, and there's no words. It's all that. So we can actually tell, looking in digital marketing, that our traditional marketing is doing well, which is amazing. Like, hey, we're only getting this much, but you're getting this many calls. That has to be your branding. So typically, our brand is huge. We're one of the leading HVAC companies in Charleston. So we're really well known. Our orange and blue trucks, a lot of people in this area have used us. So return on investment is, our branding's been huge for a long time. I want to say about maybe 50 to 60% of our calls come straight through knowing our number already, our phone number.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So the orange and blue, was that a combination of the two companies' colors when Lim Ric kind of
Oh, wow.
merged,
That's a
or?
good question. I don't know that one. That's a good one. It's just something that that they have. They've always been the orange and blue, So it's bright orange, bright blue.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes to work with the marketing, like any kind of design with the blue, with the orange like that. But man, it stands out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, you obviously probably can't do, you definitely can't do like orange text on blue. I mean, you probably could. It's just like not small. It'd probably be kind of hard to see.
Yeah. So I use mostly the blue, and I'll accent things with orange, because it is, you're right, it is very hard with those two colors.
Yeah.
But it's,
we come into that as well, because we have orange in our colors. So like, it makes it really hard to do any type of white text over the orange unless it's like super bolded.
Yeah. I see that. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if it's like,
it is hard.
if even like the thing scrolling at the bottom,
you have to use something really bold, a little bit of shadow.
Yeah. Well, and the thing scrolling can you see the thing scrolling at the bottom here?
I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the streaming thing that we use, like it lets me control the color of the banner, but doesn't let me control the color of the text, which I think white would probably work the best in this instance.
It's clean.
I could just see it being a little challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but mostly in all of our advertisements, any kind of design, I use mostly the blue. Blue is very trusting. Blue, if you put a blue filter over your Instagram posts, they're the #1 liked and viewed post. So I always make sure, that I'm always using the blue on top, but highlight it with the orange, because we are that orange and blue.
Yeah, that's smart. So have you been tracking that? Like, the ones that have the blue filter get more likes? Is that something you're tracking?
So I'm just playing around with it right now. I won't really use the blue filter, but I'll put more blue in our picture. So if it's a picture of the guys with the blue shirts, but it's a lighter blue that really gets people. So I'm just testing it right now, because again, it's different times that our audience are looking at it. Tuesdays are a little bit, our Tuesday nights are better than Wednesday mornings are better, stuff like that. So it's really, it's hard to, but yeah.
So this is really interesting. I'm excited to talk about this, because there's always these things online that are saying like, here are the best times to post on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and whatever. But that's not really specific for your ideal customer. That's just in general, the general population of the world, not really, homeowners between the ages of 25 to 44, or whatever the age group and income and whatever that you're looking to get. So do you think that it requires a lot of more testing on social media for?
Yeah. You can't believe everything you read on the internet, right?
Oh yeah.
And 2020 really, really opened that up to what times people are really watching, or what times people are really working. I spoke to another business owner that said, man, I don't put a time limit on my guys anymore, because they get so much work done at 2 a.m. Okay.
Really?
That was interesting. So I looked into that. So I started looking in at 2020, what people were at home more often, but what were they doing? They're spending more time with their children. They're having dinners now. So are they looking at Facebook? Now that people are coming back to the office, and I kind of studied this for a few years, before 2020, it was 2:00. Everybody at work was picking up their phones, looking at, they want to get out of there. What's going on in the world? I'm done with this. Or, they want to walk away from whatever they're doing right away. So that's what I found. But you really got to look at your customers And another thing is, it's like when we get into that, you got to make sure they're your customers. They're not just somebody disliking your stuff that aren't going to be your customers. Does that make sense a little bit? Because I know a lot of people want likes and they want follows, but we want customers. So
yeah. So what are some ways that you can get customers to like and follow and comment and share and do all that good stuff?
All right. So there's National Giveaway Day, July 15th. So don't quote me. I think it is 15th. We partnered up with CDC. It is a design furniture store, and their customers base is the same as ours. So it's in the same area. They're these kind of people. And then I found an influencer. We're working on this right now. So if it doesn't pan out, but this is what we're doing. We found an influencer who works for Charleston, who does Charleston Magazine, who's influencer for all these really big, huge companies that were still tied and match our customers. And when I say our customers, when I talk about like our Comfort Club memberships, so our maintenance plan memberships, those are the people that we want to keep, because we want to make sure that they're always our customers. They're always going to trust us. And then when something goes wrong, they know who to call. So that's why we like to make them our member. So that day we're going to kick off, hopefully this is in the works, but I got a $600 Dyson vacuum cleaner. Insane, right? So we're going to take that vacuum cleaner to the design store and have the influencer there with our big Lim Ric ribbon on it, like, follow, do this, and you can win the Dyson. And when we did the history and the data of what our customers would like to purchase or to win, it's not a $25 gift card. Yeah. It's either an air fryer or it's a vacuum cleaner, a Dyson vacuum cleaner. We narrowed it down that far because those are the people that care about taking care of their homes. Yeah.
I know I've heard some like speculation recently that Facebook's like trying to like do away with people requiring likes and shares for giveaways.
Yeah.
And so like I had read this, like you said, you can't believe everything on the internet. Well, I read this and I was like, oh no, we can't do this anymore. And we have a social media client who wanted to give away a grill. And I was like, let's just see what happens. And nothing happened. So I think if you read online or you hear that you can't do that anymore, don't believe them.
Yeah. Right now it's okay. Obviously we all know Facebook changes their rules all the time. Yeah. And sometimes, and with digital marketing, it changes every minute. I feel like it's intense. So thankfully I can trust those people to take care of that situation. But I know that Facebook, iPhone, now Spotify is now, because that's a good one to follow too, to get data. They are all now requiring for you to say, hey, Kelly, do you want to give up this personal information? Yeah. I know that's going on right now. So, that's going to happen. And that's what's hard, because we're going to target those people, because on social ads, our customer for that.
That makes it really difficult too. I know it was like the iOS 14, I think was the update, or 14.01 or something like that. Because I started seeing them and it was like, do you want them to track your usage? And you can say yes or no, and pretty much no. If you hit no, then they're not going to be able to really target you as well anymore.
But I wonder are you able to still use most of the features?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering too. I feel like there's going to be a lot of testing around this, because some people are saying like now everything's shifting to demand generation rather than lead generation. So it's like it comes all the way back to how good is your brand? Because back in 2015, a person with no brand recognition could dump $4,000 a month into Facebook ads and their business would blow up because they were showing their ads to the whole world. Well, now you can't really, you still can advertise, but you can't get as granular, and Facebook's getting a lot more tough on that stuff. So now it's like, if you don't have that brand, then people aren't going to really want to come to you anyways.
Yeah. And I think about like billboards and television, or being that commercials, everybody has access to not have commercials, so digital is huge, streaming is huge, and everybody's in their phone, they're not looking up anymore, even when they're driving.
Yeah. That's a few things that I've been looking into more is like the OTT ads. Yeah. Those are pretty popular right now. I know they were starting to come around about 2 years ago is when people started really testing with them, but it seems like a lot of people are moving to those
Yeah.
Just because everybody, well, one, hardly anybody has cable anymore. Most people just
Hmm.
have the Roku or the Fire Stick, and they've got YouTube TV and what's the other one? Hulu TV and
Right.
all that stuff. So that's where you can get them at now with your ads. Um, and then also YouTube. I've heard that YouTube ads, like the 30-second pre-roll ads, are a really solid place to go to.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a good 3 years already so far. Terry Brandt's really big with Brandt Mina. She is huge into OTT. She loves it, and she can see the response. I can actually almost see the person that, I mean, I can't, that my commercial is going to.
Yeah.
So now when you take your phone into your home with OTT empty, you set it in your house. If it's there between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. for 3 days in a row, I am now hooked up to all of your systems inside the house, so your TVs and everything. So we know when you're making your coffee because it's all digital. It's crazy. It's a sick world we live in.
One of these days, the coffee pots are going to start selling ad spots on them.
Oh my gosh. I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. And I know, like, especially like the local news, I know a lot of people don't really watch the news as much anymore, but like every morning, if I get up and watch the news at like 6:30 a.m., every single commercial during the commercial break is just back to back to back with home services commercials, just because like that's such a good target to go after.
Well, if you look at our customers, we have more mature. I'm starting to say this, more mature. So 50 and over is more mature. We have the more mature audience.
Yeah.
So we look at that. So they are getting up and watching the news. So we will continue to do that. But you're right; they are back to back.
Yeah. It almost makes it hard to like stand out, especially if there's like several heating and air companies or plumbing or whatever it may be in a row. So you really want to make sure that your commercials are dialed in, just like you were talking about, making sure your commercials really are like the best in your local market. And like you were saying, the more mature audience, like I still fully believe that like those are the people to go after, because one, they typically have the financial wherewithal to fix something if it's broken. And two, they're not going to live with it or live without it.
Right.
So like, whereas someone like my age, like maybe someone who's between like their mid to late 20s, mid 30s, they're going to, if something breaks, they might like wait it out a few days or just like put on,
that is true.
Or like in the wintertime, just put on a bunch of like sweatshirts and blankets and just live with it for a little while. Whereas the more mature audience, they're not going to want to put up with that just because like they don't need to and they don't want to.
Yeah. And you'll find the new generation, though, are paying for everything cash. So more like 30 and over, they're doing more financing. 30, the newer generation, these young kids are coming up and they're paying cash now for stuff too. So yeah.
You can thank Dave Ramsey for that. He's
absolutely
gets the financing and just pay with it in cash. So, and that's why I think that the younger generation will, they'll live with a broken system or an outdated system because they're like, well, I'm going to save up for a couple paychecks or something and then just pay it off. I know when I got my new system, I financed it.
You did.
Like,
yeah.
So,
but hopefully these younger generations are getting back in the skilled trades. So they're, if your dad probably knew how to fix a doorknob, build a deck, or build a barn, fix your HVAC, your furnace, plumbing, they all have the skills for that. So hopefully that's what the new generation is going to be doing.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, Kelly, I don't know if you're aware, but we do something called HVAC trivia here on the Smart HVAC Marketing podcast.
Okay.
And we are going to put you to the test. Are you ready?
Oh, no, but okay.
All right. This is question number 1. We ask the same first question every single time. In 1902, this person invented the first large-scale electrical air conditioning unit.
And it was in... Oh my gosh, where was it? And it was in a movie theater. How many seconds do I have? I want to look it up so bad.
I never thought about putting a time limit on it. So the first one wasn't for movie theaters, but it was for the printing press, so that the papers wouldn't like I guess, curl when they got humid, I guess. I'm not sure.
Nice.
That's what
I
I've
didn't know
read.
that.
All
But
right.
who was it?
Willis Carrier.
Okay. Oh, hello. A carrier. I should know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, that one is that one. All right, I'll give you an easier second one.
Thank you.
This type of business was the first to install air conditioning units in efforts to bring in more customers.
I mean, an HVAC business, right?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, an HVAC business installed them, but this type of business was the first type of business to have air conditioning so that people would want to come
Movie
in.
theater.
Yeah, there
Okay.
you go. And that's where the
Thank you
summer
for that.
blockbuster came from.
Okay.
There was one that I wanted to ask that I saw, and let's see. Where did it go? Here we go.
Okay.
I wish I had asked this one to Claire Ferreira or Julian Scadden, because this is where they are located. I don't know if you know either. Julian Scadden is with Nexstar, and Claire is with Standard Heating and Air. And this is where Charles Gilbert Gates built the first fully air-conditioned home. This was in 1913. What U.S. city was it? I will give you a hint. Target, their headquarters is here.
Wait. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me that one.
It's Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so what is that? So that was where
The first fully air-conditioned home was built.
Really?
Yeah, Charles Gilbert Gates from Denver, Colorado.
I need to brush up on my HVAC for sure.
Yeah. So some of these are like way too hard. I try to stick with the easier ones. Like, it's kind of hard to find an easier one because now they're talking like, I mean, some of them are just like the Chinese first transported natural gas via bamboo pipelines in 500 BC. I just don't think anyone's going to know that.
No. I'm going to send you a few easy ones.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, Kelly, this has been an awesome conversation, and I've really enjoyed diving into the nerdiness of marketing a little bit more with you. So if there was any contractors out there who were looking for some easy marketing ideas to really start growing their online presence, what would you tell them?
Oh, okay. So I always say this: if you made it through 2020, then you can do anything. So I would definitely get involved with the influencer. Make sure that they have the same target market. That's totally huge. Taking care of your team is number one. You're going to have those bad guys that you got to weed them out. I'm telling you, we did things on Fridays where during COVID, got dinners for the families. One time we got a nacho average essential employee, and we put nachos and we put a piñata and we put cheese and salsa. And in the piñata, there's candy, but there's also $500 cash.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, it's huge. It's really huge to invest in your company. I mean, our boss, David Miles, the owner, is incredible. And that trickles down to all of us. I mean, it's pretty incredible experience. So when you take care of your guys, you know, someone that's proud of where they work and of their work, I mean, that goes a long way, definitely. I could go down the whole line of getting into the data, finding your perfect avatar, but really look into that. Really look into your commercials too, because like you said, they're back to back and they got to stick out. So reaching out to a company that can do a consumer report on it and say what consumers, they really have people lined up and they say what they like, what they don't like. You could see it like add up, like their eye motion and everything. So yeah, I would definitely do that.
That's really cool. Well, Kelly, what are some ways that people can learn more about LimRic or get in touch with you if they had more questions?
Yeah, limric.com. Go ahead and shoot us an email through there, even through info@limric.com, and that's LIM-RIC. You can contact me there anytime, any questions, or if you have ideas for us as well, I'm always open to that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kelly, so much for joining me this morning. It's still morning time.
Still morning here.
Almost, yep. So thank you again for joining us, and we will be talking to you soon.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.